be better ad-libbing. It makes me all nervous.
Right. Welcome to Yogaxpress, the mobile stretch clinic that takes yoga to the people. As you can see, we have a wonderful, wonderful full house today. We have 6 participants, and including me, that's 7. I'm Banu Suresh. I'm going to introduce all our participants in turns, and then I will introduce you also to a special guest. I'll introduce her last so that she can tell us a little more about what she's going to do for us today. I will also introduce a crew. We also have a full crew today, so thank you to everybody. Our crew includes Claudia Atkinson, who is our director today. We have Danny Darrow, who is also in the control room. We have Meriden Villanova on camera, and we have George Soterelis on camera. So thank you for this wonderful, wonderful crew setup. Our participants include 3 regulars. One of them was almost a regular in every episode till she dropped out of sight for a while. She's back with us, and I'm very happy to introduce Amy Kitchener to my extreme left in the black t-shirt. To Amy's right, Josiane Hurd, and I will introduce our special guest in a little while. Her first name is Deanna, but let's hold off her introduction for a moment. We have Ed Phelan to my immediate right, and I will tell you a little bit. In fact, they're all going to say a little bit about what they do in a few seconds. Tony Taylor to Ed's right in the long black t-shirt, and to Tony's right, we have Sandra Lee. I believe we have already introduced Tony Taylor before. Tony has a BFA in film direction and writing from the Tisch School, NYU. Correct, Tony? Did I get it? I finally got it right. Great. Tony in the long black t-shirt. And Amy, to my extreme left, is an editor of books, dissertations. Probably also, I'm sure Amy can also help us write our resumes. Right, Amy?
Yes.
I need you to do that. I'm terrible at that, so thank you. Josiane used to do belly dancing before, and now she is a yoga addict. She just practices yoga whenever she has a chance. She also is into martial arts and boxing, so there's a wonderful contrast for you. But Josiane, one day when Josiane becomes our special guest, she's going to tell us what is the connection between martial arts and yoga. Ed Phelan is also an avid yoga practitioner, and he was introduced to yoga by Deanna. You still have to wait a few seconds to get Deanna's last name and all her details, because we have one more person we're going to talk about, and that is Sandra Lee to my extreme right, who is keeping very quiet, hoping I would miss her out. But Sandra, you are in with us for the long haul. Sandra is hoping to get into the food revolution and enjoys therapeutic yoga. Sandra, what exactly does that mean? What is the food revolution you're talking about? Give us a little bit insight.
Providing more healthier foods for the population.
Okay, you can start with giving us something nice and healthful. We would love that. We're always hungry on the set, so Sandra, you have a wonderful audience right here. Ed, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you were introduced to yoga by Deanna.
Yes, so I live in the Bronx, and I work with the Lasallian Volunteer Program. That's really involving young graduates of colleges and universities across the country doing volunteer service.
Right.
And find yoga very helpful for me for flexibility,
Right.
and for concentration, to meditate and things of that nature.
That's fantastic, especially if you're dealing with other people. You want to be sure that you feel centered before you can share your knowledge with others. That's wonderful. And now for the big moment. Deanna McLaughlin. Did I say your last name right, Deanna?
Yes.
I was holding that off. I was a little unsure about how to say your last name. Deanna is a yoga trainer, a yoga teacher. She's been studying the mind-body connection for 23 years. Now, if you hadn't told me 23, I wouldn't have believed it because I don't know where to add on the 23 to. So did you start when you were 2 years old, Deanna? She's been teaching Tao Yin yoga for 17 years. Deanna's teaching emphasizes opening spaces between the joints to promote the power of the body to heal itself. And I think all of us here who have practiced yoga understand that it's very important for us to believe in our own body, to believe that the body can heal itself. In yoga, we do promote that concept. It can and it does, and you will experience it when you join us. Deanna's going to conduct 2 sessions today. Deanna also provides private lessons. Obviously, it's not going to be free, but you can get in touch with her. Her website will be up as soon as she starts speaking. Her website is going to come up. She also offers weekend retreats, conducts workshops to groups, corporations, and conventions. For the past several years, Deanna has provided workshops in hospitals with cancer patients. That is really very inspiring, Deanna. I'm so happy you're here to share your teaching style with us because now we feel we are part of the group that deals with the cancer patients as well. We feel we're giving something back just by being with you, so that's wonderful. She has developed a DVD for use in patient waiting areas and physicians' offices. Did you bring a copy of that?
Not with me.
We have to have you on again. Deanna is also producing a new DVD which will be released late fall. I'm sure if you contact her, go through her website, get in touch with Deanna, and she will tell you exactly when that DVD will be released. And the new DVD will focus on 4 areas of the body: the neck and shoulders, twists, lower back, and hips. So I should have said neck and shoulders, twists. So I guess the abdominal area, lower back, and hips. Her website, which will come on in a moment if it hasn't already when she starts speaking, but I'll call it out, www.endless-options.com. What a beautiful name, Endless Options. I love that. That's very, very inspiring. Deanna is going to take us through the sciatica and hypertension sequences. She has created one just for us. But before we go ahead, Deanna, tell us exactly what is Tao Yin Yoga. You've been doing it for 17 years, and I'm curious now.
Dalian yoga is a form of yoga that has integrated the Chinese medical model. So there is an emphasis on opening space between the joints as well as improving your range of motion. So we focus on strengthening and toning the central nervous system and the organs. So your body strengthens and tones from the inside out.
Wow.
It's rooted, as I said, all yoga comes out of India, but there was a time when the Indian migrated over to China.
Buddha went there too.
Mm-hmm. Right. And so during that time period is when there was the birth of this style of yoga. It's not mainstream as popular. You don't run through the postures. Most of the time the postures are held for longer periods so that your body opens into the pose like a flower opening into a bloom.
Oh, what a
That's the
beautiful
imagery.
expression.
And there is a lot of visual imagery connected with this style.
Right.
So your intention is to be in the pose without forcing yourself to be in the pose. So you let it happen instead of making it happen.
So you just, well, is that what Paul Grilly, he's another master of yin yoga?
He
and
does
says-
yin yoga. His emphasis is on the
He calls it moving into
range of
stillness.
motions. Yes.
Right.
Yes, and this style is a premise for moving into meditation.
Right.
So the intention is to take your body from your outer world to your inner world so that when you are through with the postures, you have a sense of quiet and peace within yourself.
And is it true that Paul Grilly's yoga, the yin yoga, which he calls moving into stillness, you have to hold the postures for a pretty long time, sometimes as long as 2 to 3 minutes, which is a long time in yoga terms, right?
Yes, in some advanced yin yoga classes, which is a variation of Dao Yin. It's not exactly
Oh,
the
I
same.
see. Okay.
But in that form, you might hold one pose, up to 15 minutes, actually.
Whoa.
And then you know you've been somewhere when you release out of the pose.
Right.
You'll feel completely different.
The only posture that I could possibly hold for 15 minutes is the shoulder stand, not Shavasana. I can see that. I can hear from his naughty laugh. He expects me to say Shavasana. Yes. Corpse pose, yes, forever. But the shoulder stand, and most of the times what happens, I think I go to sleep. I'm not really meditating. So sometimes it is, in fact, it's always important to have a special technique which will teach us to get into that. And Deanna's going to talk us through those postures. Deanna, we cannot wait to stretch with you. So please, the floor is yours. You tell us what to do. We're going to stretch with you.
Okay, well, before we begin stretching, the most important thing is to begin to clear the mind and calm the body so that you prepare yourself to do that. So we're going to start first with a simple breathing exercise. And when you are preparing for yoga, there are many different forms of breaths that you can use to center yourself. What you want to focus on is the sound of your breath. So rather than thinking about what you're going to have for dinner tonight, every time a thought comes into your brain, as you exhale, you should think about letting your breath carry your thoughts with you. So what I want you to do is, we're going to make it very simple, because a way of sealing out any external distractions is to cover your ears. So we're going to start by putting your thumbs in your ears, and you'll lay your fingers over your eyes. And the posture is just to cover the eyes with 2 fingers. Your ring finger lays underneath the nostrils, and your little finger just lays right on the chin. And you close off the openings to your ears and breathe long and soft.
If you have fancy glasses like I do, we take them off, correct?
And as you breathe, you want to breathe in from the bottom of your lungs. So you should feel your spine being tall. And let your breath expand your rib cage out to the side. And when you exhale, completely empty your breath, as if you were emptying your body, as if it were a vessel full of your favorite beverage. So you breathe in and fill every part of your body, and let the breath lift up under your skin. And as you exhale, when you feel like your breath is completely empty, you'll breathe out a little deeper, so your breath is completely gone. At the end of your next breath, just keep your eyes closed and bring your hands to your lap. And take a couple of minutes to just feel the difference in how you feel now and how you felt before you did the breath work. And then gently opening your eyes, lift your knees, and place your hands next to your hips. You're going to rock up onto your feet. We're going to come into a standing position nice and slow. So coming up onto the balls of your feet, bring your hands forward. Lift your hips to the sky. Good. And now as you come up halfway, bring your hands over top of the opposite elbow and hang like a rag doll. And let your head be very heavy like a bowling ball. So you should just let your head hang empty, as if you had no muscles in your neck. And with your eyes closed, what I want you to focus on is that each time you exhale, you feel your body drop a little more with the breath. So you're going to unhinge your body from your hips. And one way that you might try to go a little deeper into your pose is to draw your abdomen in, just about a half of an inch or an inch. It's just a very subtle movement, but when you engage the abdomen, it releases your hip, and you can fold a little deeper into your fold. Now releasing your arms, lift your nose and chin, and reach for your ankles. So you're going to take a hold of your ankles. Again, draw your abdomen in slightly. And as you exhale, draw your chest in towards your knees. When you have your head below the knees, so you're just going to empty your body forward, fold. And again, when you have the head below the knees, it reduces your blood pressure. It calms the mind. And they say it also dissolves your ego. So if you have a lot on your mind, this is a pose to do. You can do a variation of this if you have a hard time doing this pose because of some other type of impairment. You can do a variation of this in a chair, just by being seated in a chair and putting your head between your knees. Now keeping your eyes closed, keep your shoulders soft and your arms empty, and slowly lift up one vertebrae at a time. Good. Just come up, visualize the space between each vertebrae. Excellent. You feel a little more relaxed?
Oh, yeah.
Tony, you look a little good. Great. Okay, now what we're going to do is side triangles. You're going to take a step forward, and what you're going to do here is you want your feet sort of perpendicular. Step forward so that your feet are perpendicular to one another. Okay? And what we're going to do is bend that first knee, your front knee, over top of the middle of your foot. And when you bend your knee, you want to make sure that your knee doesn't go past the toe line. So as you look forward, if you can't see your toe, pull your knee back a little more. You might want to adjust your step, okay, so that you have your knee bent. Face this way. Yes. Okay. Now, you're going to bring your arms out. Reach out through your fingertips. And what's important when you're in a pose, you can use your energy to change a pose. So if I just leave my arms hanging like this, there's not much interest. But if I reach out through my fingertips, then my energy is moving through my body, out through the ends of my fingers. And this helps engage different points in the body. So I'm going to push down through my forward leg. Continue reaching and bend forward. Bringing your hand down towards your ankle. Now you're going to look up toward the hand that's in the sky. And instead of leaving that hand limp, reach up through your fingertips so that your energy is moving up, because you don't want to sink down toward the ground just because gravity's taking you there. You want to be reaching up. And she's a perfect alignment with one shoulder over top of the other. So instead of worrying about how far you come to the ground, what you want to work on is turning your shoulder this way. Okay? So lifting up. Good. Straight up. Okay. And Brother Ed, you'll want to try to bring your hand up a little further on your leg. So maybe just reach for your shin. There you go. And now try twisting. Good. And looking up at your fingertip if you can. And reach up. Good. Excellent. All right, so this pose is really good for opening up the side of the body. Now, I want you to reach up through that hand that's in the air and pull yourself up back to where you have both arms parallel to the ground. What we're going to do is swing your arms together as you step forward with both feet coming together. Good. And move to the other side. So step your left foot back, because you want to keep balance in the body. One way that you become habitual in your everyday pattern. So one side is always going to be easier to do than the other. So bend the knee over the foot, watch your toe line, make sure that you're not hyperextending the knee because that'll create an injury. So you'll want to step back a little more with your left foot, Tony, so that you stretch out through your fingers now, bringing your arms parallel to your shoulders. Reach out through your right arm, stretching it out. Bend from the waist. Bring your right hand down towards your ankle. Reach up through your left fingertips. Good. And look up at your left hand. Stretch up. Good. So you'll feel this through the side of your body. So what we're doing, the organs inside the body, on the left side, you're opening up your spleen, and we're compressing the liver. We open the liver side first. And when you're doing a pose, as you work different sides of the body, what it does is it helps to massage the organs so that it wrings the body out. Good. And again, you'll notice one side is probably easier than the other. Now, reach up through your fingertips. That's stretching into the sky. Press down through your forward foot and bring both arms back up to center. parallel to the ground. Good. And now what I want you to do, step forward, crossing your arms, bend down. Bring your hands towards your feet. Step back. With both legs, you're going to come into what is called mountain on these cards, and sometimes you'll know it as downward dog. So here, what people often do is they will try to, if you're really flexible, you have to be careful that you don't hyperextend. So what you want to make sure to keep your shoulders from being injured, and that's a very common mistake that people do in yoga. Their hands are positioned in many different directions. You want to make sure that your index finger is pointing straight ahead in your downward dog or mountain pose as it's here on the cards, because otherwise it will turn the rotator cuff and it can create an injury. Also, you want to make sure that your ears are in line with your arms. Otherwise, if your head is a little too far through your arms, this can create a different kind of injury. Your heels should be up off the ground, so if your feet are flat, you'll want to step back a little bit more. You should be able to put at least a piece of paper under your heels. Okay? Press down through the heels as you lift up through your hips. So you're going to pull your tailbone straight up. Good. Now press your heels down. Excellent. You feel that stretching the whole back of the body. And again, if you have sciatica issues, this whole area is the area that we're focusing on. So every muscle that you can stretch around the area that hurts is what's going to promote the healing of that part of the body. Okay. Now what we're going to do here, everyone has a little bit different range of motion. We're going to step forward with one foot. So take your right foot and step forward between your hands. If you need to come onto your knee and bring that foot forward, then that's an option that you might try. Okay, so one foot is back and one knee is in between the hands. Good. Now, as you need to, bring your elbow onto your arm or place your left hand on the opposite side of your right foot. So the left hand will go. You can either do this and change, or simply bring this. It just is a matter of what's more comfortable for where you're at in the pose. You want your left hand on the outside of your right foot. So you can bring yourself up, sliding your left arm over your knee, and bring your hands into prayer position. And so this is a little twist and balancing pose. So the trick here to keep yourself from balancing, once you hook your left arm over your knee, push your right knee out toward the right, and that'll put pressure on your left arm, so it'll help balance you. And then if you place the palms together, pressing them together, this also creates a seal. Good, that's great, Ed. Okay. Excellent. And look over your right shoulder if you're able. If it doesn't feel safe, then don't worry about it. If you're not there, as you build around different parts of your body and open them up, your postures will begin to change as your body loosens up. So if the first couple times you're too tight and you're not able to get into the pose, don't worry about it. Use your pose as a assessment for where you're at. Okay, now gently bring both hands to the floor. Take a breath. Step back with your right leg. Step forward with your left leg. Bringing the left hand between the feet. Good. Cross your right arm over near the left foot. And then slide your elbow up to your left knee. Good. Place the palms together and turn your left shoulder up toward the sky. Good. So Tony, come down on your left knee to stabilize yourself. Your right knee, I'm sorry. And now bring your right arm over and just try it with your knee bent on the floor. See if that's more comfortable. Good. So this is an alternative that works for you. And then what you'll want to do is try just bringing this right arm over top as far as you can go, because as you build your flexibility, that will change for you. So this is where you're at today. Tonight at 6 o'clock, Tony's flexibility might be at a whole different place because everyone's body has a different time of day that it's more flexible. Okay, good. Place both hands on the ground and bring your feet back together. Bring your shoulders over your wrists so we're in plank. So you're going to shift your shoulders straight over top of your wrist. And what you want in this pose is not back here or here, but straight over top so that your wrist, elbow, and shoulder are in line with each other. And your hips are down. So walk your feet back a little bit so that you're in a straight line. That looks good. And great, perfect. All right, excellent. Now bring your feet down. So, I'm sorry, knees down, lean back onto your heels. Take a breath.
Ooh, we needed that.
Good.
Feels wonderful.
Feels good? Great. That's what we want. So when you work out the body, your goal is to work both sides so that you balance out both halves of the body. And you also want to give your body rest periods, because it's during these rest periods that you can really feel the work that you did while you were in the posture. Okay, now there's one more pose we want to do. So I want you to sit up, and for the cameras, I want you to put your back to the camera for just a second with your legs to the wall behind you. We're going to do a supine prayer. With this pose, both hands, I'll come up here to demonstrate. You're going to take both hands and reach around as far as you can behind you. And lifting your chin over top of your fingertips as you exhale, lower your nose toward the ground. Lift up and breathing in, lift, twist in the other direction. So things that you want to watch out for. Your hands stay on the ground, so don't compromise the posture, your body for the posture. You let your hip lift up off the ground. Let's try another one to the other side. Breathe in as you lift. Exhale as you twist to the other side. Reach around, and this time, if you let your hip come up off the ground to make your nose get closer to the ground, leave your hip on the ground. Then try not letting your nose come down as far as it was before. You're just experimenting with where you're feeling the twist more in your lower lumbars and across the abdomen, because this twist opens up across and down the leg. So you're opening up the hip, the abdomen, and the lower back. Okay? After you come up from this twist, take a breath in. Bring yourself back to center, twisting around. And lay back. And their final pose will be a rest. That's okay. And again, the reason that you want to rest at the end of your yoga pose is to let your body feel the energy that's moving through it from the action of the pose. In every class, there's a relaxation period, and this is the reason, to let your body feel that healing energy that you've just stirred up inside of it. Thanks so much for being here today.